Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video, we're going to show you how to change out the Maytag dryer drum felt seal. It's going to be a very easy repair, and it's only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new dryer drum felt seal. The dryer drum felt seal helps seal the drum and keep the hot air in. It's also what the drum rides on. The main reason to be changing it out is if it's damaged and the hot air is leaking out and your drying times are getting longer, or it's making noise. In order to change the part, we have to take the dryer apart. First thing we're going to do is take out the lower screws with a Phillips screwdriver so we can remove the front panel. Now we can take the front panel off. We just have to lift it up a little bit so the clips come out of the top and it drops down. Once you have it free, you can set it back down, and then we're going to carefully swing it out of the way. There's enough wire here so you can just swing it around and lay it across the side of the cabinet. Now we're going to remove the bulkhead. We're going to use a 5/16 inch nut driver to remove these 4 screws that hold it on. But first we're going to unclip this wiring harness holder just so it's out of the way. Once you have that off, we can take out the screws. Once you have the screws out, we can carefully lift the bulkhead off. We're going to swing it aside, just like the front panel. Set it on the side. Once you have the front bulkhead off, you can see the felt seal. There's one on the front and the back. If you're doing the front, you can just change it on the table. You can see when you pull the seal back, there's these little tabs that you have to go around and lift up so you can pull the seal out. The one on the back is done the same way, but it requires you to take the drum out. So we're going to show you how to do that one in the video. Now that we have the bulkhead off, we can lift up the top. There's a screw on each side that holds it in. We're going to use a ratchet with an extension and a 3/8 inch socket to reach in and take them out. Now that we have the screws out, we're going to lift the top up. There's no hinges on this particular style at the top, so you can put a towel across the front and lean it against the wall behind the dryer. We're going to lift it up and use a lanyard to support it because we don't have a wall behind us. So we're just going to take the lanyard, hook it in the frame, and then hook it on the top. Now we can reach in and take the drive belt off the pulleys. We're just going to grab the idler and pull it towards the side of the machine. And then take the belt off the idler and the motor pulley. Now we can take the drum out. Just going to lift up on the belt and guide it out of the frame. Once you have it out, you can set it aside. Now that we have the drum out, you can see that the felt seal goes all the way around the back bulkhead. And if you peel it back, you can see the tabs that hold it on. We're just going to take a flathead screwdriver and loosen those up so we can pull the seal out. When you do it, you just want to get the screwdriver underneath the tab and lift up on it. Just go around the whole thing and lift them all up. Once you have all the tabs bent up, you can carefully pull the drum felt seal out. Once you have it free, you can pull it out of the dryer. Here's the old dryer drum felt seal next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. To put the new drum felt seal in, we're just going to push it up into the opening where the tabs are And you just want to line it up here a little bit so it's maybe 1.5 inches or so, like that. And then we're going to make sure it goes all the way up into the base of the opening. We're just going to press the tab down with the flathead screwdriver to hold it in place. And then we're just going to go around the whole bulkhead and make sure it's locked into all the little tabs. Once you have the drum felt seal in, we're going to put a little bit of high temp adhesive at the end so it doesn't come apart. So we're just gonna squirt some onto the felt and let it cure overnight before you use the dryer or anything. Make sure it's dry and doesn't come off. Once the glue cures, you're going to have to come in and fold the drum felt seal over on itself and kind of crease it a little bit. It's going to be a little bit harder to get the drum over it when you're putting the drum back in, but once you get it set in place and get the drum in there, it'll set itself up. Now we can put the dryer drum back in. You want to guide it back in and make sure it sits on the rollers, making sure that the felt goes on the outside of the drum. Once you have the lower part of the drum in, you just want to reach in from inside and push the seal out so the drum sits properly. We may have to redo this once we get the belt back on, but you want to make sure that the seal itself is not pinched and that it runs smoothly around the whole drum. Once you have it in properly, it should run nice and smooth. When you put the belt on, you want to make sure it lines up with the wear mark on the drum. You don't want to put it too far back into this little channel here, otherwise it'll make the belt too long. You also want to make sure that the grooves are up and the smooth part is against the drum. Once you have it in place, we can put the belt back on. To put the belt on, all you have to do is reach in and route it through the pulleys and make sure it goes around the idler pulley. And then you can push the idler pulley over towards the side of the dryer and make sure it wraps around the little finger that keeps it on the pulley. Then you want to take the other end of the belt and loop it around the motor pulley. Once you have it on, we can put the rest of the dryer back together. Sometimes on this design of dryer, the belt is hard to put on from the front the way it's routed through the pulleys. So some of the models actually had an access panel on the back where you could access it that way. So if you're having problems doing it through the front, you can always check to see if you have an access panel and then pull the dryer out and do it from the back if it's easier. Once you have the belt on, you want to look at the felt seal and make sure it's in place. Because it's new, it's going to push the drum forward while you're trying to push the bulkhead on. So you want to try to hold it in place while you're putting the bulkhead on. If the seal happens to come out a little bit, then you'll have to reach inside the drum and push it out from the inside again. Before we put the bulkhead back on, we're just going to grab the wire harness clip that we let drop down earlier and bring it up here so we can put it on later. Then we can grab the bulkhead and line up the duct at the bottom and lift the bulkhead up into place. You may have to move the drum around a little bit to get it to sit on the glides properly. Once you have the bulkhead in place, we can use the 5/16 inch nut driver to put the screws in. Now that you have the bulkhead on, You want to take one last look around the felt seal, make sure it's not pinched anywhere, and make sure that the drum spins freely and it's not binding up. Once you're sure, we can put the top back on. To put the top down, we're just going to remove the lanyard and carefully set it down. Once you have it down and lined up, we can put the screws back in. We're going to use the ratchet with extension and the 3/8" socket to put the screws back in that hold the top on. Once you have this one out, we can do the other side. Before we put the front panel back on, we're just going to put the little wire holder in. So the wires are held in place. Once you have it in, we can put the front panel back on. To put it back on, we're just going to swing it back around into place. And then you want to make sure that the little tabs right here line up with the cutouts in the top. Then we're going to put it in like we took it off. We're going to put it at a little bit of an angle. Make sure the clips go in and it doesn't drop down. Once you have it in place, we can use the Phillips screwdriver to put the screws in. Once you have the dryer put back together, you can plug it back in and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.